Good evening, everybody. It's sleep deprived, jet lagged Jamie here, and welcome to Travel Blog Jamie on this, our first Monday Night Live of 2024. So I'm going to say cheers to y'all. Happy New Year. Oh my God, I've missed you all. I really have. I don't know what you're all drinking. If you're drinking anything, hair of the dog, hair of the cat. Why do we say hair of the dog? Hair of anybody you like, the person next to you, hair of them. Cheers to you all, my darlings. I hope you had a great New Year's Eve. I didn't. I really have genuinely missed you all. I hope you've missed me as well. And let me just say cheers one more time. Cheers. Two more times. Cheers. Oh, that was a Savvy Blanc. Don't know who it's from. Someone over Christmas. Thank you, Jesus. And thank you to everybody for being here. I'm quite shocked, actually. Normally, when we start our lives, there's about 90 of you waiting just as we go live. And tonight, there's like 355 of you waiting as we go live. Whew, that's scary. I might need another sip of this. And can I also just say, if you're thinking, oh my God, look at the state of Jamie tonight, look at the bags under his eyes. Well, you'd be correct. I am tired, nay exhausted, but I'm here for all of you. So this is not going to last me very long, actually. It looks tiny, doesn't it? That's not going to last long. But here's to 2024. Here's to your health, your happiness, to hysterics, and any other word beginning with H. If you can think of any other, please do pop them in the chat below. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm here for your hangovers if you have them. I'm sure none of you drink very much. Oh my God, and we just shot up to 462 people watching. I'm sure none of you have hangovers, do you? I'd actually like to be able to say I do have one. Unfortunately, because of yesterday, I don't have anywhere near a hangover. Maybe a sleep-deprived hangover. So look, I'm here to help you through those difficult times today. Happy New Year. Right, before we go any further, please do give this video a cheeky little like or the thumbs up. Please do subscribe to my channel. I'd love for you to be on board. I really would for 2024. It's going to be an awesome one. There's so much to look forward to. And don't forget, you can follow me. We can follow one another on Facebook. It's Jamie W. Robbins, 1B. Don't put 2 B's in it, my darlings, because a robin is a bird and there's no 2 B's in that. And my mum, if she were here in the flesh, would probably give you a clip round the ear if you wrote Robbins with 2 B's. She wouldn't have it. She would not have it, I'm telling you. So let's follow each other on Facebook. Once I'm finished here with you all, I've disposed of you, I'll have a look and I'll let you in. No problem, okay? Also, if you're on X, Twitter, oh gosh, one of my New Year's resolutions was not swear, especially on live. On Twitter, X, Threads, Instagram, I'm there at Travel Blog Jamie, and also Patreon and Cameo.com. There are some of you in the house tonight who have had those Cameo messages. I hope they went down well over Christmas. But I'm there for your birthdays as well, okay? If you want me over Valentine's, you can have me, okay? So it'd be nice to see you over in some of those channels. Now then, coming up today, and for those of you who haven't been here before, we've got a few standing items on our Monday Night Lives. One is I Know Him So Well. Hashtag I Know Him So Well. I won't sing it just yet. We also have Trolling Travel Blog Jamie. And my trolls were a bit quiet in the lead up to Christmas and New Year, but they're back. They're back with a vengeance. So I'll be sharing some of those with you. And then, of course, all your questions. I know that there's loads of comments currently in the chat. I'm not going to get to those. As soon as I say go with your questions, that's where you need to add them. Okay, I'll read all the others later. I will. For now, though, it is time for I Know Him So Well, where I ask you a question about me. Yes, I'm that self-absorbed. Yeah, pop your answers in the chat and we see who gets it right first, second, third, fourth, or however many. It's all about prestige as well, my darlings, okay? Get it right It's a lifetime of prestige. There's no other prize, I'm afraid. There's no monetary gain here. Okay, right. So here we go. What are my absolute 2 pet hates on a cruise ship? I shall repeat the question one more time. What are my absolute pet hates on a cruise ship? I'm going with my top 2. In my head, I've got 2. You might have others that you can think of as well. Okay. Someone's just written fish, which is making me laugh. I don't like fish. Okay. Oh, that's sorry. It's a one-word answer like that. I don't like fish, but that's not the answer. Okay. I'll go through your answers in a minute. Some of your answers are so funny. Oh my God, I love you. I love you so much. I'll come back to them in a minute. But whilst you're thinking and popping your answers down, it's time for Trolling Travel Blog Jamie. And this item is always dedicated to one of my trolls or someone who's just been ridiculous. And they try dragging me across the internet or undermining me, embarrassing me, insulting me, you know, the kind of things that happen to travel vloggers or anybody else, cruise vloggers. But this is about getting our own back and me dragging them back. Okay, so I've got 2 for you, maybe not the most horrendous ones. But yesterday, someone on YouTube was complaining about, and I quote, my dull, passive aggressive presentation of Ambassador Ambition ship tour. So I reverted to just being aggressive. When someone says you're being passive aggressive, I'm like, well, I'll be aggressive then. And I told them where to go, basically. They were seemingly quite upset with me, my darlings. So I asked if they rather I were passive. And if that were the case, I'd apologize on their behalf for their silly comments and their aggression. Eventually, I just blocked them. But, you know, I'd like to think if you think I'm passive aggressive and I'm dull, that you just won't watch me. There's a tip for you all. You know, you don't have to. No one's literally holding your head down, are they? Saying, watch this man rabbling on. No. The other one actually happened on my own P&O Facebook group yesterday, which was really annoying. Literally minutes after we landed from our flight from Antigua, I posted on my Facebook groups that because I was unusually absent from social media for quite some time because of our very long delay, not having access to Wi-Fi and so on. And I had so many messages and DMs and comments on the Facebook pages and people like, where is he? And people were tracking our flight, which is so nice. People online are talking about where we are and how we're feeling, and we must be exhausted. And I bet Jamie is really, really not very happy. So all of this was coming through, ping, 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 as we landed. And I thought, oh my God, I must post on the groups just to make sure everyone knows we're okay, everyone else is okay on the flight, etc. So I posted the following. I said, we've literally just landed with Maleth after a 16-hour delay. Full stop. Notice the focus on delay with Maleth. That's important, okay? And then I said, it's been awful, and we've and some very poor decisions by P&O. And then I went on with the bulk of the message was to wish everyone a happy new year. Of course it was. It was about 11 in the evening or just before. So anyway, some meat sandwich. Sorry if you don't know me. I call people a meat sandwich when they do my head in. I think it was Darren, somebody actually, Darren Butter Meat Sandwich, said to me, what's P&O got to do with a 16-hour flight delay? So I said to Darren Meatloaf Sandwich, where did I say that? Please show me where I said that. So Darren actually copied and pasted bits of my message, leaving out the bits of importance, like a 16-hour delay with Maleth. He left that bit out. So, and he literally created a quote from me that was inaccurate, but also it literally 3 lines above what he posted wasn't my message, saying exactly what I'd said. So in the meantime, one of my lovely members goes in saying, oh, that's quite confrontational of you to this person. I'm messaging back saying, don't change my words. Do not do that. You know, and then of course hit the block button. I'm not having that. I'm sorry. That's just outrageous. So I know there are going to be lots of questions here about that. Anyway, so those are me two little trolley moments from the last trolley. Oh, a trolley moment. I've been on plane too long, haven't I? From the last couple of days. Yes, they can jog on. Absolutely. Right, let's get back to hashtag I know him so well before I take all of your questions. My two top pet hates on a cruise ship. I can see some of you have got this wrong. One is a long wait, long lines for drinks. I can't abide that on holiday. I cannot. And one thing that happens every now and then on a cruise ship, you might have had this, is when you take a seat and you think, okay, they don't want us at the bar. They want us in our seats. They're coming around taking orders. And you know what annoys me is when people arrive 5-10 minutes after you, and then they get served immediately, and you're like, oh, hello, hello. And if I go to the bar then, because this happened to me and Matthew this week, and we literally got ignored on 2 occasions. And I'm so like, oh, excuse me, can I? No, sir, no, sir. And then they start serving everyone around you who've only just arrived. So I went to the bar, and the man said, so you have to go and sit down. We come around to take your order. And I said, I've been there for 30 minutes and people aren't taking my order. What would you like me to do? And then we got a drink. That's one of my pet hates. I know the crew work really hard and are really busy. It comes down to management, doesn't it? The management, the leadership. Have you got enough crew in the right places or just on the ship? That's one of my pet hates. And I can see some of you got the other one right, which is I hate empty pools. If Tony is in the house, he'll be like, I know. Tony says you talk about empty pools so much. I hate it. When I go on a cruise ship, I want to go swimming. I won't go on a cruise ship without a pool. That's just me. I love swimming when I'm on a cruise. I don't care what the season is. It could be snowing. Me and Matthew went into a pool on Iona in February when it was a gale force wind at night. It was freezing. We were freezing up. Heebie-jeebies off, I tell you, my loves. In we got, because the pool was heated beautifully. You know, we had our gowns, our robes there, and we wrapped ourselves with towels. It was such fun. But, you know, on my ambassador cruise a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, they've got 2 beautiful looking pools. One of them, it's got all sorts of lovely trickery in it, you know, like those nice little benches and spa jets and everything. It looked great. No, all empty. Apparently because of the weather that was mild, calm, no rain, that weather, no rocky seas, that weather. And then I found out that Ambassador very often don't fill their pools. Thanks for letting me know. Engaging with trolls is like barking at parked cars, pointless. I know, but it's fun, and it's fun dragging them back, large Negroni. I don't take much notice of the trolls. If those of you who know me know I'm very trigger happy with my fat little fingers, me chubby digits, and that block button. You know, they can do and say what they want. Right. What else do I need to talk to you about? I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. Well done to those of you who know me very well. And yes, I can see there are other comments, things that I don't like. And you're absolutely correct on all of those. And yeah, a ship without an iced coffee. What the hell is going on? Anyway, my darlings, I am now officially going to hand over to you. If you have posted a question before this moment, I won't have seen it. Okay. And I'm not scrolling up because I'll miss everybody's. I'm going to go from now with your questions. Okay. Let me just quickly have the point of a pool is to swim. Exactly. Nami does cruising. Okay, let's go. Mum was on same ship in November. Pools were empty. Thank you, Ryan Harris. Why? Why is this? Why does it have to be? Did the budgie smugglers make it back? Oh, I don't know. You know me. I like wearing my tropical shorts. Debbie, Queen of the Bus, off again round Hairy Canary soon. Yay, Happy New Year. Dining club experience on, oh my God, and I said like all your questions, you're going mad. I'm going to go with the questions like Maleth because they're like just non-stop. Okay, I'm really sorry, Debbie. I'll come back to you about Explorer, etc. Right, Maleth, how many star out of 5? Right, let me clear a few things about Maleth. First of all, my first review of our flight from London to Barbados with Maleth is out on Sunday. Okay, so if you put a reminder on, you'll have a lovely Sunday morning. Okay, I want to just say a few things about Maleth. First of all, P&O obviously have contracted Maleth as their charter airline. Okay, that's really important. I'm going to also address some of the hysteria that I've seen in some awful Facebook groups about their safety record. Maleth Aero do not have a poor safety record. They do not. They've done emergency landings for every now and then for minor things like turbulence. Okay, that happened a number of years ago. That happens to any plane caught in severe turbulence. It can happen to any plane, and it does happen regularly. If you have a look online and just do a search, you'll see it happens all the time. You know about the one on Maleth because, of course, it's very prevalent. It's in the news, isn't it? It's controversial. I think I don't want anyone who follows me engaging in that kind of talk. One thing that happened on a return flight is that we had an issue with a valve, okay? And therefore we had to go back to the stand and they had to fix the valve, and it took about 40 minutes, a pain in the ass. And then there was hysteria on the plane. People could hear all these raised voices and screeching and so on, and people literally off-boarded themselves, so the captain had to come on, the cabin manager had to come on and talk about how safe it was, etc. Neither Matthew and I had a problem with flying with them because of safety, but it was really interesting that because of the hysteria whipped up on some of these groups, there were people who had to get off that plane because they were like, there's going to be something wrong. There's something terrible happening. There's something wrong with this plane. And that's not fair on Maleth, actually. I've got to be honest with you. There are other issues with safety that people might want to talk about when it comes to cabin crew. Our cabin crew on the way out and the way back were fab, okay? I felt really bad for them because the bad press they've had as Maleth Aero should not reflect on the cabin crew who were experienced and working incredibly hard and patiently in the face of challenges from passengers. I felt so bad for them. I really did. And some of those crew who Maleth Aero don't have enough crew. This is again an issue from management. They cannot staff their aeroplanes well enough, which is what led to one of our major delays of 16 hours. But the crew on board was so polite and courteous and helpful, and they were just doing their job as directed by Maleth Aero. That's what they're there to do. So when P&O says to Maleth Aero, you can't give our passengers more than one drink with a meal, and that's it for the flight. That's what Maleth Aero the crew are likely to do. I say likely. On our flight over, they allowed everyone to drink as much as they wanted, as long as they weren't inebriated and causing a fuss. That didn't happen on the way back, though. So very inconsistent. So look, the plane, the one we went over on, configuration of 3 aisle 3 aisle 3, old looking, tatty, worn interior, no doubt about it. Worst exit row seat I've ever had for legroom. Appalling. And I'm going to say it, I was sat next to someone who had the worst BO. And I'm really sorry if that person watches this or my review. It's the case. It was so strong. I literally sat like this with my back to that person. And I probably should have said something, but I think their family members said something to them eventually. It was unbearable. And I have to say to all of you now, if you follow me and you have any compassion for me and fellow travelers, always be hygienic, please, when you're traveling. And if you're on a long haul flight, please be hygienic. It was horrendous. I cannot emphasize enough how awful that was for me. That's got nothing to do with Maleth Aero, though. It really hasn't. Matthew's seat was in the aisle of exit row, so he had more leg room, which is great. But it was next to, we were right behind the toilet, which wasn't in itself a problem with passengers. But when the door swung open, it literally was knocking into him. So worst exit row seats we've ever had. Obviously, we got there safely. We had a 40-minute delay on our way over from London Gatwick, which we felt was okay considering it was Christmas and it was Saturday. You know, that's the norm at Gatwick Airport for any flight, to be honest with you. So the main problem we had with Maleth flying over was that the product was inferior to those people flying on other airlines. And we paid the same for less, essentially. And some people have complained at me saying, that's not true, Jamie. We paid more than you because we fly from Birmingham, for example. I have to emphasize, you're not paying more for the service. You're paying more for the airport you're departing from. That's a massive difference. You could come down to Gatwick and pay less potentially, okay? But you're having to access a London airport as well, and that comes with its own costs in terms of traveling there, parking, etc. So can we not get those two things confused? We basically, and some of you have been on Maleth, some of you will be on Maleth, we're paying the same amount for an inferior product. It's a budget airline slash, it's not an airline, okay, a budget product. And there are other budget long haul products out there like Norse, Norwegian, that offer a lot more for their long haul flights. A lot more. That's our issue. And the issue being that P&O said it would be a fantastic in-flight service. And it's not, because the condition of the plane is not fantastic. The interior, sorry. I don't want anyone to think that I'm talking about its safety record or anything. I'm talking about the interior. It's not. The service where most people are getting one drink only. You also cannot buy drinks, duty-free or anything on Maleth. Nothing. They don't have any machines. They don't have any cash or anything like that. You cannot buy anything. So you cannot tell me it's the same experience as that everyone else is getting. That's our main problem. Okay. You're going to say, and I would agree, it's really important that you get there safely, hopefully on time. Okay. And I agree that first and foremost is the most important thing. But I'm not happy that P&O are telling us that it's the same quality as everything else, that, you know, with TUI, or they put people on Virgin and BA. Not true. Okay. Our flight back, there are lots of questions about the flight back as well. Okay, so we could see the day before we were due to, actually before that, you know, the issue with the severe turbulence, and the Manchester bound flight had to divert to Bermuda. And that's called an emergency landing. Of course it is. There were passengers on board who didn't have seatbelts on, who injured themselves in the turbulence. And I've read, and I don't know if it's true, that some of the trolleys there were unattended and were moving about, flying about, whatever, I don't know, and struck some people. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. I read that. Okay, regardless, they made the emergency landing. That plane did not leave for days as a result, and the people on that plane didn't also leave for a couple of days. I think they ended up spending Christmas Day there. So that plane coming back to the UK days late, I think started, you could see it was going to have an impact on the planes coming out. Now, the one that came out to us was severely delayed for many reasons, but what it meant was the cabin crew on board that plane, therefore could not work further hours. They had to have a certain number of hours break, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, those of you into aviation here, is around about 12 or 13 hours. So here's my issue. We could all see this unfolding. Matthew's fantastic at keeping up to date with things. So, you know, he was looking to see what time our flight was due to depart. And on most sites, it was saying 7 a.m. the next day. We were supposed to leave at 5:30 in the afternoon. No, it was saying you're going to leave the next day at 7. P&O, however, when we went to the muster to be disembarked at 5:30 in the afternoon, it was delayed. They knew it was delayed. We'll meet again at 5:30, they said. In the meantime, enjoy the ship, keep making purchases. Your cabins will be still yours until 4 p.m. We were so pleased, and we were like, thank goodness that being transparent, helpful, it makes a massive difference. It really does. So Matthew and I were really pleased about that. So we went to the theatre at 5:30, knowing that everything's saying our plane's not leaving until the following day at 7 a.m. They insisted our plane would take off at 4:40 a.m. So yes, a significant delay. Stay on board, they said. Come back to muster at 1 a.m. We will then take you to the airport for your 4:40 a.m. departure. There was a lot of disbelief in the theatre at that time. I filmed the whole thing. The noise, the booing, the this, that, and the othering. Woo! I'm literally filming myself as the message was being given by the captain, and I could sense what was coming. And I'm like, "Oh, get ready, folks! Put your fingers in your ears." And then the message was given, and oh, the thing is, people aren't daft, are they? Like Matthew, lots of people were getting updates, and they could see this plane was not due to leave until 7 a.m. at the earliest. Because of the crew issue and crew needing to have a certain number of hours of rest. Okay. Sorry, I was just noticing some of the comments, some of which I disagree with, but we'll have to agree to disagree on some of that. So off we went. We had that left about 8 or 9 hours before going back to be disembarked. In the meantime, the reception on board is chockers. There are people in tears, hysterical. We went to reception mainly because my Wi-Fi, Matthew's Wi-Fi, stopped working, and we bought the package. And I thought, I bet you any money they've cut my Wi-Fi off because of my social mediaing. No, they cut everybody on that flight, all of our Wi-Fi gone. The reason given was that we were officially on their systems disembarked. Not quite accurate though, is it? Because we had our cruise cards and we hadn't zapped out. Something to do with that. Something about IT that I do not understand. So they stopped all of our Wi-Fi. And when I went to reception about it, they said there's absolutely nothing they could do. I spoke to a manager as well. I then spoke to one of the managers about the 4:40 departure time, and I said, where did you get that number from? Where did you get that time from, please? Because if you look at this site, they're all saying 7 a.m. So here's what I think, and I was very upfront and honest and measured and calm. I think your company are sending us to the airport at 1 a.m. to spend the night there, telling us that our flight will leave at 4:40, knowing it won't leave till at least 7 the next day, so that you don't have to accommodate us. Whether that's by putting an area of the ship aside, like the theatre or the clubhouse, bring some blankies, just get some water there, some nibbles for us. You're not going to do that. And you're definitely not going to look at putting us up in accommodation elsewhere. I know that's a logistical nightmare. I know that there might not be rooms for everyone. I get it. But the fact is, they didn't even look into it. They didn't put any space aside. So that manager looked me in the eyes and said, head office has told us the flight will definitely leave them. And I looked at him and I said, I want you to remember this conversation, because you're going to know what time that flight leaves. If that flight leaves after 7 a.m., you're going to know that that information from head office was fabricated, and that you have left your customers in an airport for the entire night with no facilities, no refreshments. So he looked at me and nodded and said, I understand your frustration. There was nothing I or anyone else could do. So we arrived at the airport at exactly 4 minutes past 1. I know that's very precise, folks, but Matthew and I we've been documenting everything, as you can imagine, everything. And we didn't need to check in because boarding passes were already provided for us. Luggage had already been transported to the airport. in advance. All of that's great. It makes it easier. So you just go through security. So Matthew and I were through security by, I think, 1:15 in the morning. There was nothing about our flight on the departures board. It had disappeared. Of course it had disappeared. You can imagine, can't you, if they've put a departure flight time of 7 a.m., how angry people would have been. And here's something interesting for you. When we disembarked the ship, normally you can keep your cruise cards. They insisted they take them from us. Now, I'll let you decide why you think that was the case. I think it was a telltale sign as we were departing. One man in front of me said, no, I'm keeping my cruise card. I always keep my cruise card. And security insisted, no, we have them. I won't go into the theories as to why I think that is, but I'm sure some of you will have some as well. So anyway, no notice of our flight and its departure, apart from all the information we still had online that it would be 7 a.m. at the earliest. Eventually, it appears on the board as a departure of 5:30. And we're thinking that can't be accurate either, because the crew wouldn't have had enough hours of rest. Regardless, though, time went past and past and past and past. There was no sleeping in the airport. I mean, it's not an uncomfortable airport, but it was so well airconned, it was freezing. There were no staff there, no shops or anything open, of course, no facilities, nothing to drink or eat. It was freezing, and those chairs they were so hard. There was no sleep in there. It was just horrendous. And it was 4:40, and Matthew said, oh, look, there's the captain. It was at 4:40. Of course, when the captain arrives, it takes time to prepare a plane. I don't know how that works because I'm not a pilot. It takes time. The last member of cabin crew came through at about 5:30. So obviously, no, we were on board that plane by, I think, about 7 a.m. And lo and behold, what did I say to you? All those websites, Flight Radar, etc., departure at 7. No, we didn't have our departure because there was a delay for whatever reason. When we finally started taxiing, we stopped and had to go back to the stand because of an issue with a valve. And that took about 45 minutes to resolve. Around that time, you've got hysterics on the plane with passengers wanting to disembark, and cabin crew trying to calm them down, trying to keep them on the plane, reassure them. Captain coming on, trying to reassure everyone that this is a minor thing. So everyone's like, well, tell us what the issue is then with the valve. Why can't you tell us what the problem is? Eventually they did. I don't really understand the issue with it. I don't know about my aviation. I honestly don't. But I trusted a captain and its crew more than Facebook forums and their hysteria. And I think you should as well. However, these people, they offloaded themselves. It took, and those of you who know anything about trying to find luggage in the hold, it took an hour and a half whilst we were still on that plane to find their luggage. It was the most painful process, looking out the window, watching the staff trying frantically to find it. Finally happens. We're still sat on this plane for another half hour. It just was horrendous. It was, because the plane itself is not hugely comfortable either, and there were no refreshments. So we arrived at the airport at 4 minutes past 1 in the morning, and we took off at about 10:15. And you know what I'm really cross with? It's not, Maleth management and so on. I'm cross with them and not having enough crew. If you don't have enough crew, then you shouldn't be flying people out. You shouldn't have that contract. P&O should be stepping in. What I'm most angry about is the disingenuous nature of P&O. They knew, I'm absolutely certain of this, and we've put together a very strongly worded letter with appendices, with screenshots, with pictures, with times, with everything, with comments from crew who spoke to us, with comments from the cabin crew who spoke to us. We made sure we knew our facts. If you know us, you'll know that that's exactly what we would do. I'm so upset with P&O for taking us all to the airport and leaving us there with nothing for the whole night. There's a legal issue surrounding that, as I'm sure you'll be aware. You cannot do that. Even if they had been honest and transparent and said to us, we can't put you up in the hotels, there aren't enough rooms, and the logistical nightmare behind that would mean by the time you're there, you'd only have a couple hours before we have to then collect you. I could have managed that, but why not leave us on the ship? Why not put an area aside for us? Why not be honest? Why lie about this fabricated 4:40 a.m. departure when it's impossible because the crew didn't have enough rest? Everyone knows that, you know. Why lie to us? Why do that? Why send us all there for that horrible night? And then obviously it's not Pino's fault that there were issues then with the plane taking off and passengers offloading themselves. Of course it's not. That's a different issue. But when you put all of that together, folks, it was the most horrendous travel experience that either of us have ever had. And basically, P&O wiped from us an entire night of sleep. And sleep deprivation is really hard to manage, not to mention the fact you've then got a long journey. And then when you get home, you've got the journey home as well, haven't you? Some people, my goodness, had hours ahead of them. That level of sleep deprivation is actually dangerous, and it makes people very emotional. Like those families who offloaded themselves on the plane, they just couldn't manage anymore. You know, they had just lost it, and I understand why, although I'm angry with them because it took another hour and a half of us being on that plane. The flight home, the crew, my goodness me, how patient they were. You can imagine some of the angst of passengers. I have to say, most passengers were so exhausted. They had no energy left. They didn't want to fight. They recognized it wasn't the crew's fault. The crew were working hard. Most of them had just done a long shift not that long before, you know, and people just wanted to get home. The flight itself, it was a slightly different configuration of plane to the one we went over on. It was better. 2 aisle, 4 aisle 2. However, because they changed the plane, all of our boarding passes were no longer appropriate, relevant, or were going to work. So our exit row seats that we booked for the return journey, gone. It was a free-for-all to get on the plane. They called it open seating. Can you imagine 300 people who've just gone through that experience and are emotionally wrecked and exhausted being told it's a free-for-all? I just can't. I can't. We had a seat for 2, and the legroom on this flight was actually better than the one we had on the way over. So that was better for us in a way, you know, more comfortable. And of course, we will get our money back for paying for the exit row seat and not getting that. We will get that back. In terms of, people keep saying about compensation. Apparently, for the distance we were traveling, the length of the delay, passengers should be entitled to, from Maleth, £520 each. Let me tell you, not concerned about that at all. I rather would not have. I wanted to get home. I didn't want that delay. I didn't want the P&O disingenuous behaviour from head office. And when the member of staff on the desk, the manager, came and said to me, "It's the message, it's from the office," he said, "the office." So I said to him, "Who's in the office? Who are they? I want to speak to the office now." Oh, that's not possible, sir. I thought you might say that, but who's the office? Who are you? If you're watching now, who are you? Come and talk to me, okay? And you tell me what you did to us and 300 other people was acceptable. So there you have it, from the horse's mouth. The review that's coming out this Sunday is our flight over to Barbados. I hope it's really measured for you, okay? Because actually, in spite of the fact it was an inferior product and we're not happy about that, I couldn't fault the crew. You know, the way they looked after us, the experience that they exhibited. I know not everyone on other flights, I think, from Manchester felt the same, but that was our experience. It's a measured review. Okay, I think when you watch it, you might be a little bit shocked by some of the conditions. For example, they were taping down the carpet by our seats, carpet tearing, and just little things like that. The interior really needs a lot of work. So when P&Os say it's an excellent in-flight service, you need to get a grip. The office, because you haven't flown on that airline. Go fly on the airline after a 16-hour delay and you tell me it's a fantastic product, you meat sandwiches. On that note, do you mind? Am I angry? Hell yeah. It's going to take some time to get over the last 16 hours. Toilets did work. Right. I haven't caught up with your comments. I had a lot to tell you about there, yeah? I haven't even spoken about Ambassador yet. So I hope that makes sense to everyone. Yes, please click on the likes. I know you clicking on like when I'm delivering this kind of message probably doesn't seem appropriate, but do click on the likes. Can I just say, I've never had so many people in a live at one time. We're nearly at 800 people watching right now. So it seems to me that Maleth and the P&O Caribbean cruise season is a source of contention or interest, controversy, any of those things. So I'm really pleased you're tuning in. Of course, everyone will have different experiences, won't they? This was our experience and it was horrendous. I'm not laying the blame with Maleth solely. I'm certainly not laying the blame with their poor crew. And please, if you're flying with them, will you remember they're doing as directed and what they've been told to do, that poor crew. Okay, so it's P&O I'm peed with. It is. I know that they were struggling to find planes. That must be really difficult. But actually, wouldn't it have been much easier if they had said to everyone, we can't provide the same quality flight as you were expecting, as we would hope. Therefore, we will give you some onboard credit, or we will reduce the cost of the holiday for you. Or how about, therefore, we will remove the cost of the flight from your holiday if you wish to book with a different airline yourself. Or how about you can change your cruise with us at no extra cost. Or how about you can cancel your cruise and you will get a refund. None of those things, none of them. And what does that tell you about a company? I know they've got to survive. I know they've got to survive. But look at what they're doing to people. It's absolutely unacceptable. And I've got to be honest with you, if I didn't have cruises booked with them all paid off, I'm not going to book with them until I hear back from them now. I just can't in good conscience. The management decisions are horrendous. And until someone contacts me or anyone else out there who have put forward complaints, I can't, and it's sad. Math and I are with P&O in 3 weeks on a Hairy Canaries cruise. And we've both talked about cancelling and losing our however many thousands. It's hard, isn't it? It's hard. We'll see how we feel when we calm down a little bit. I'm trying to be measured. I don't think I've sworn much, have I? So people are saying, will we go on another P&O cruise again? We have already paid off some. We would lose all of our money. So we'll be going on those. But will we be flying with Maleth again? No. Absolutely not. I know P&O are making changes in terms of you can just book the cruise and book your own flights. Lovely Hazel, who's not here, she's one of my patrons. She was on the cruise. We had a great day together on excursion in St. Lucia. She actually forked out more money, got a Virgin plane over the day before, stayed overnight in Barbados, had a lovely time, boarded the ship early, and is doing exactly the same thing on the way back. She's there for 2 weeks. If you see this, Hazel, I hope you have a great last week. And she's having a last night in Barbados before flying back with Virgin. How wonderful, though, if people had the opportunity to do that without losing their P&O money. Okay, toilets are working. Would I fly with Maleth again? No. Would I do a Caribbean cruise again? Yes. The cruise was really good, folks. I loved it. I loved the islands. Such a lovely Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So much going on Arvia. The crew were working stupendously hard and well throughout that week. We had some great meals. There were a few longer waits for some of the bars, sort of 2/3 of the way through the trip, which were a little bit frustrating. Yes, Angela, you're correct. They signed the contract in March and they didn't tell people until later this year after final payments have been made. Shame on them for that. Absolutely. It's disgusting. I completely agree. And I know a number of you asking, would you sail with P&O again? We are. It's all booked. It's done and dusted. Hazel, how can I fly with you? Yeah, book a flight, book a seat on Virgin or BA or anyone else. So there you go. I won't be booking any more P&O cruises though, unless we get a good response, a reasonable, measured response. What I'm expecting from the letter we sent today, which is very factual, by the way, is at the very least an apology. But I tell you what they're going to do. They're going to lay the blame with Maleth. I'm absolutely certain of that. I'm completely certain of that. And then we'll take it further. We absolutely will. So please watch this space. Now, some people are talking about how they're surprised I sail with P&O. Please don't be surprised. They actually do offer, I think, good value cruises. You know, we're talking about when you're on board, generally, I think the quality is there, the value is there, the food is good, the crew generally are good. I like their ships a lot. I like the layout of their ships. I like the decor, the cabins, etc. I don't have a problem with that. So I know those of you are saying Royal Caribbean is much better. I've got to disagree with you actually on that one. The Royal Caribbean food for me is fine, but no better than fine, and they are so expensive. Back to Princess for me, I am going to try and go on a Princess cruise, but the thing is, there are lots of cruise lines out there, folks, and you know I like trying lots of cruise lines. It won't just be one. It hasn't been that way for a number of years for us now. So there you go. Hopefully I've answered most. I cannot keep up with your questions. I am so sorry. I'm just glancing at a few here or there now and then. Okay, if you are booked to go to the Caribbean on one of the P&O ships, I want to reassure you of a few things. The cruise itself, I'd like to think, will be really good. Okay, I loved our cruise. Someone say Morella. Yeah, we cruise Morella. We go with all of them as far as we can. Someone said, would you consider P&O if just sailing from and to smelly Southampton? Well, we do that already. You know, we don't just do fly cruises. One of the cruises we've already paid for with P&O is from Southampton. That's, I think, the norm for us. You know, the fly cruises isn't the norm for us, although we've done them very successfully up to this one. So please, if you're going on a Caribbean cruise with P&O or anyone else, I think you're going to have a great time. Hazel's here. Sorry, Hazel, I've just noticed. Yeah, Arvia is lovely. You know, the way they handle Christmas Eve was just superb. It was super magical. It really was. When you watch that vlog, I'm absolutely certain the first thing you're going to see throughout that vlog is, wow, look how relaxed Jamie and Matthew are. Look how much fun they're having. Look at all the things going on the ship. Look how everyone's in such good spirits. Christmas Day on board, which I filmed for you as well. You're going to watch it. You're going to watch it knowing what comes in part 3. I know that. I've filmed all of that for you. I'm not sure it's very interesting watching a 16-hour delay, but I bloody filmed it all. You're damn right I did. But parts 1 and 2, you're going to watch thinking you couldn't believe something was about to happen like that. You couldn't. The vlogs, I've started editing them. They are a joy to edit. I keep, like, I'm smiling now, aren't I? When I've been editing those vlogs, I'm literally just smiling as I'm doing all the chopping and cutting, because they are nice memories, fantastic people we met on board and on excursion. It just, and the weather was superb all week. And yes, I got to go swimming on board. Loads, unlike Ambassador. Yeah, Stacey said, dreading this vlog, knowing what's to come. And that's interesting because you're going to see me and Matthew probably more relaxed than you'll have seen us for a long, long while. And you know what's about around the corner. You should see my face in the vlog in part 3. And it'll be interesting, okay? So hold on to something when you're watching. Especially the scene in the theatre that I'm filming. I'm filming me, by the way, and my reaction, Paul Matthews' reaction, rather than everyone else, because I think that would be unfair. And can I also say something that wasn't fair? In that theatre, one of the entertainments team was having to manage everyone in the theatre on their own. And I also think shame on you, Pino, for not putting one of your senior members of staff in the theatre with that poor girl. What on earth? This just diminishes my respect for the leadership there. How horrendous to do that to one of the entertainments team. Maybe it's just me. Paul Ludlow, yeah. He's been copied in on everything. But also, I know that P&O follow my adventures with them. You might have seen my Arcadia video from just a few weeks ago. Loved it. Nothing but praise that whole week. And I think those of you who watch the Arcadia videos will know that that came across. That was another video I loved making. It was just joyous. They watch, they know. If one of them's watching this, please contact me. You could have mitigated so many issues here in PR disasters. All you have to do is be honest and transparent and communicate with your passengers or future passengers. That's all you have to do. And you failed on every account to do that. Do you mind if I talk a little bit? Yes, I agree with Angela Morland. P&O are fully responsible. They chartered the flights. They will, thank you. They will put the blame at Maleth store, and I think that's grossly unfair as well. They decided Maleth can do the job. There you go. Maleth are struggling. They're struggling. So look, those of you going out, have a fab time. Hazel's out there now. She's loving it. It was lovely meeting Hazel. She had a great New Year's Eve on board. I loved it. This is just the last 16 hours of delay, okay? The Maleth flight is, I don't think personally, is as bad as some people are going to think. Don't get swept up in hysteria online, on Facebook forums, folks. Don't. Most of what I read as well on those forums was fabricated nonsense, and so much speculation. Come and ask me directly, okay? Your experience will be better than mine with the flight back. I'm absolutely certain of it. You're going to be fine. Take food, take drink, take an iPad or whatever, load some films, load things to do, but you'll be fine. Okay, I promise. I love the cruise. You'll see that in the videos. I promise you. Uncle Jamie is making you promises, my darlings. All right. Right. Let me just quickly talk about Ambassador. Probably my most disappointing cruise ever, along with CMV. There's a link there between those two cruise lines. I really like the ship Ambition. Okay, I know purple and blue, etc. Green is not for everyone. It's like walking into a Marvel film. But I liked the ship. I liked the layout. I liked what they did to the venues. Was really quite lovely on the whole, apart from the purpley green things, which, a bit like Marmite. But my goodness, there was a massive issue with check-in for many passengers. My card wasn't working. Join another line. Wait another half an hour to get it working. That kind of stuff. My main issue was, at that point, emotionally, I wasn't in a great place, as some of you will know, and I just needed a bit of space. I couldn't get space on that ship. If I wanted to eat, in the buffet, they only had tables for 4, bar 1 or 2 tables for 2. And it was so super busy and crammed. The buffet is horrendous on board Ambition. It's horrendous. I was constantly having people join me at my table to eat at the buffet. In the MDR, you have to be with people. You have to sit with them. And I thought, breakfast, let me go to the MDR, the main dining room at breakfast. I'll just get a table myself. Just need some space. No, They sent me up to the buffet. No, sir, it's too busy here. So I went up to the buffet thinking, damn. There were no seats in the buffet at all. It was chaos. You couldn't walk in the buffet. That's how bad it was. So I went back down and I said, I'm sorry. You've just sent me to the buffet. There's no room. You're telling me there's no room here. Where would you like me to go? Please just tell me. So there were people in the line at the time saying, oh, he's just told me to go upstairs. And I said, I'm not going up there. Eventually, he lets us in. There's this whole row in the main dining room, tables for 2. He still said, you're going to be over the table there for 6. And I said, no, I'm insisting I have a table on my own. I need a table on my own this morning, please. I just need some space. And he refused point blank. So I stood there and held my ground. I said, no, you don't understand. I am having a table for 2 there. Eventually, he seats me. When I start vlogging, they then see I'm vlogging. Oh, and then their attitude changes, all come over, napkins, are like, sorry, sir. And just awful. I hate that attitude. I hate it. But even worse, the main dining room there for breakfast is still a buffet. They've got a whole buffet section. So you still join lines to go in the buffet. Pools were not filled, even though the weather was absolutely fine. I decided to go for room service one morning for breakfast because I just couldn't. I couldn't in the morning. I just couldn't. £9 to have breakfast delivered. I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. And then they arrived, and the guy, this is exactly what he said to me. He didn't say hello, good morning. He said, you will have to make your own coffee. I kid you not. I've just paid £9 for room service. You will have to make your own coffee, pointing at my kettle. And I'm like, will I? I was so dumbfounded. I took the tray, realized half the ingredients were cold. The hot food was cold. I just phoned reception. Can someone come and take this tray away and refund me? Oh, why? Why, sir? I gave them all the reasons. It was just it's not for me. That cruise line is not for me. If you want to be always sat with strangers, you're going to love it. I don't always want to be sat with strangers. If you don't care about swimming and like looking at empty pools, you're going to love it. If you want room service and don't mind making your own coffee and eating cold food, you're going to love it. The good things about Ambassador. Love the venues indoors. Had some really nice drinks, actually. Some lovely crew. It wasn't the warmest welcome at sea, as they say. When I checked in, they literally ignored me and brought forward other people. I'm not joking. I'm at the front of the line. And I ended up waving, saying, I'm sorry, I don't understand why are other people coming in? Oh, sorry, sir. And then I don't know if it's because I was on my own. Maybe I look like someone they don't want to serve. I don't know. It really wasn't the warmest welcome at sea, folks. So look, I've been having some very interesting cruise and travel experiences over the last few weeks. I really want to say this as well. Some people have inferred that because I was emotional on one of the Ambassador vlogs, which I have to be honest with you, every time I was filming, I was just filming, talking, and every now and then I just literally burst into tears and I couldn't stop myself and I had to stop and start again. You know what, though? I am old and big and ugly enough to be able to separate my emotional state from good service. I promise you, I would never put out a vlog to you. That's just not genuinely what I'm experiencing, okay? I wouldn't do that to you. So kind of insulted a little bit that some people out there think that I didn't like Ambassador because I was emotional. It's not true, okay? Please believe me. Right. I think I've given you, oh, by the way, I loved the itinerary. Loved my time in Amsterdam. I couldn't wait to get off the ship. I couldn't wait. Loved my time in Ghent for the Christmas markets. If you get a chance to do a Christmas markets cruise sometime, I think they're fabulous. I'll absolutely do another. I absolutely will. Okay. Right, I am going to go to the comments now. I feel like I failed you all. I'm going to read all of your comments when we finish tonight, I promise you. I'm just going to see where people are chipping in at the end. Favorite Caribbean port? Oh, Rachel, I can't do favorites. I love St. Lucia. I've always wanted to go there since I was like this tall, that's not very tall. You know, I remember looking at pictures of the Piton, thinking, I want to go there one day. When we were sailing up on our speedboat to the Piton, I got emotional. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. Even more emotional when I realized they were dropping us in between the Piton to this exclusive tiny little beach resort, you know, the whole coast fringed with these palms, the Piton. I'm like, oh my God, we're staying here for 3.5 hours. I couldn't believe it. And Hazel, if you're watching, and if you don't know Hazel, when we had to get back onto the floating pontoon, it's actually difficult. It's like a step like this, and it's going around in the ocean. Bless Hazel. She crawled in the end. Sorry, Hazel. I've got to just let you know that. I loved St. Lucia, but every island we went to, we did something different at every island. You know, so the snorkeling in St. Martin was fantastic. I just don't think I could choose between them. I love them all individually. And you can give me steel drums 24/7, my darlings. Bloody hell, I love those steel drums when you arrive at port. Oh, and they were like doing Christmas tunes, cold towels, rum punch galore. Give me more. I want it in my face. More, more, more. God, I loved it. Bloody hell, I loved it. I don't apologise for showing emotion. You've not failed us. You're speaking your truth. Thank you, Donna and Chrissy. Night, by the way, to some of you. Thank you. That's what I'm going to keep doing. How do you become a patron? Patreon.com/travel blog Jamie. Everything is there for you. Patreon.com/travel blog Jamie. In fact, I've written out 32 postcards for my tier 4 patrons, which I'll be sending probably mid-January. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, otherwise they'll expect it every time. Oh, we got our stuff 2 weeks early with Travel Blog Jamie on Patreon. Can't be having that, can we? Thank you, Nami. That's really kind of you. Sarah, flood with hearts again. Oh, I've missed that. You're flooding with hearts. Thank you. I haven't cried or anything, but I did tell you there's a lot to talk about. Did it with style. Hazel did it. Hazel crawled up that pontoon with style. I said to Hazel, I really wanted to film you, but I felt that was really wrong. It would have made a great little segment on the vlog. And in fact, when I edited that whole part together, I absolutely remembered poor Hazel and all crawling up the pontoon like this in the waves. Oh, that was fabulous. Visual approach is off on Queen Vic this weekend from Southampton to Hamburg. Any tips? 2 nights. Definitely do afternoon tea on Queen Vic. It's a treat. And even if you don't like afternoon tea, I'm not overly fond, do afternoon tea. Go to the ballrooms, do things you would never do, like me doing a bit of ballroom dancing. It's not me. I do it on that. I have got a Queen Vic vlog as well. If you want to have a look, just search Travel Blog Jamie Queen Victoria. Yes, I love steel drums as well. Yes, we did a piano excursion in St. Lucia. I actually filmed in the vlog the name of the excursion and talk about how much it is every time we did one. Okay, so that's going to help you big time, I hope. Natalia, is that how I say your name? I'm so glad I managed to catch you after work. This is my first Jamie Live. It's a ton of fun. Oh, I have to say with you, I hope everyone else agrees with me. Normally they're more fun than this. I've had to relay quite a lot of serious info. I really appreciate you being here. I do think the others are more fun than this, but this was important, you know. Yeah, Elaine, piano excursion. If only Amy could make a glass of wine last as long as you do. I've been talking so long. I've got school tomorrow as well. Emma, it's good to have an honest review rather than everything is great. Well, I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to upset cruise vloggers here. The week before my ambassador cruise, a number of cruise vloggers, I think Clear members, had a freebie, and none of them mentioned any issues or anything about, oh, by the way, you will have to share tables and the pools are empty and nothing. I wonder why. It really annoyed me. And it's made me think, well, I can't trust certain people anymore just to honestly say what happens or what they see, even if they use a facility or not, doesn't matter. You still need to report back on it. So that I don't think is very good. Yes, we are doing a river cruise next Christmas down the Rhine, Scott. That's going to be awesome. Chrissy, we hope you like the gift you should receive in the next coming week or two. Oh my goodness, thank you. That's really kind of you. I wasn't expecting that. Is a Caribbean cruise worth booking? Yeah, I love Caribbean cruise. Love the Caribbean. Really, really, very much. I absolutely recommend it. I just would not fly with Maleth. Sorry. Thank you for those of you saying it's very informative. Hi, Charles from QM2. Love Queen Mary 2. Hope you're having a great time. Oh, the setting for ads hasn't changed, Elaine, so I don't know why you're getting more. In fact, where there is a setting and it's like normal or aggressive ads, and I always have it on normal. I've never put aggressive ads because I think that would be even more annoying than any ads you do get. So I'm apologize. I thought if an ad played, it just picked up from where I was last talking, to be honest with you. So apologies. It's definitely not on a setting for aggressive ads or anything like that. 3 weeks on board Pinot, says Commodore. Great. Yes, good. Devon Deck Chair, sad to hear about your Christmas cruise on Avia. Well, no, the Christmas cruise on Avia was great. It was the flight on the way back that wasn't. Okay, so that's not what I'm. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm trying to be really clear that we had a great cruise, but we didn't have a great travel experience on the way back. Okay, I said it right, did I? Natalia, I love that name. Ambassador just saving money by not filling pools. Yeah, that's it. That's what they're doing. And I don't like that. You know, I'm paying to be on a cruise ship with facilities. You tell me you've got a pool, I'm going to use your pool, whatever the season. 40 days to go, says Daniel. Is that for our Iona cruise? Mrs. H, you're honest. That's what we love about you. Thank you. Nami, we're on for a night. We thought that they were refilling for you guys. No, they weren't refilling. Sarah, how will I find Discovery after Cunard? Chalk and cheese. But I love both for completely different reasons. Did you watch, Sarah, did you watch my Discovery vlogs from the summer when we went to New York and the Bahamas, etc.? I think that will give you a really good idea. Can you trust travel bloggers who get most of the trips for free? No, they'll tell you that you can, but if you can trust them, why didn't they mention some of the things I've mentioned? When I had lots of gifted elements of my Fred Olsen cruise, and I still was able to say what I didn't like and what didn't work for me, you know, and Fred Olsen was fine with that. They were like, you've portrayed us in from your point of view, largely positive, and I stand by that. I think they're a fantastic cruise company, but not everything was to my taste, and it wouldn't be to yours. We like different things, so it's okay. I think a good cruise line accepts that in the vloggers, and they appreciate that level of honesty. Maybe not all of them, actually, and they just want you to be always positive, but hey ho. Daniel, you would have seen me as Paris on Facebook. I would, Daniel, of course. I'm looking forward to meeting you. James and George Adventures. Oh my God, we've been on here for an hour and 7 minutes and there's still 577 of you watching. You people are amazing. I'm going to wrap up in 3 minutes, okay? And I'm so sorry that I haven't been able to answer lots of your questions. I'm sure you'll question me online somewhere. Really sorry to hear you had such a rubbish experience on your recent holiday. Hope you're looking forward to Iona in Feb. Yes. You know what? The number of people who are going to be on Iona that have reached out, said hello, looking forward to meeting, can we meet up? I think it's just amazing. So I think it's going to be a great cruise from the passenger perspective. I really do. Stacey, love your honest and informative reviews. Keep it up. You can tell when other vloggers have been given freebies. Everything is always perfect, I bet. I don't watch them visually. This is why I get in trouble, and this is why other cruise vloggers don't like me. I'm really sorry to those people. I'm honestly not attacking you personally. I just think you could be a bit more genuine sometimes, some of you. Another question, also off for Costa Cruise next week. Is Civitavecchia worth visiting or go to Rome? If you've never been to Rome, you must go to Rome. Civitavecchia I don't think has a great amount. However, it does have the best pizzeria on the planet called Pizzeria Ghetto, Ghetto. There's like a promenade area, the seafront. It's nice enough on a nice day. The town is quite quirky and quaint. I don't think there's a lot to do though. Okay, I will say that. Where are you off on your next few cruises? The next one, Tina, is Azura Hairy Canaries cruise. We are actually planning some lovely things there, and we've got a fabulous cabin on that one, so looking forward to it. Frenchie, Jamie, you are the best clogger. Oh, I'm really good at clogs. I actually used to make clogs for a living. Thank you for that. It's how I make my money. Oh, someone online on my group today said he must either just promote these cruise lines or be extremely rich. Jog on, you meat sandwich. What are you talking about? Like, talk to me. Don't he this, he that. Jog on, mate. Seriously. You're lucky I didn't give you the boot. I was that close. That close. Okay, it's 1 hour and 10 minutes in, and there are still 569 of you watching. I tell you this much though, if you have watched and you have enjoyed this live, in spite of its serious nature at times, please can you give a little thumbs up or like? I would appreciate that. I really appreciate you all being here. I'm going to be back next Monday. It looks like I've got a lot of questions to go through. No, I'm not a member of Clear, by the way, Commodore Steve. I'm not. Eat that meat sandwich. Yes, I'll be back next Monday. I'm going to compile all the most common questions here as well and make sure I answer them for you, because I feel bad that so many of you have been commenting and I've not got to your comments. Okay, I'm not too young for Fred Olsen, Angela. I am approaching a certain number. Say no more, my darling. No, don't say anything either. Okay, right. I hope you enjoy the vlogs coming out this week. Wednesday is the concluding part of my ambassador cruise. It goes from bad to worse. Saturday is our overnighter at London Gatwick. Sunday is the first Maleth review. So make sure you have subscribed, turned on those notifications. Okay. For now, though, my darlings, thank you so much. You are all, as you know, bloody gorgeous. I'll see you around online. Have the best 2024. Thank you for sharing the beginning with me, and lots of love to you all. Take care.